Welcome to the the second episode of PBI, powered by Influence. Today I got a legend in the house. I got Rickey D, man.
What's going on, man?
Good. How are you, brother?
Good to see you, my man.
So, before we get this whole thing started, I want to talk about one thing. I want to talk about how humble you are, man. I connected with you on social, right? We connected on Instagram.
No doubt.
And this guy just goes like, how can we break bread together?
Absolutely.
I told you, I'm like, listen, we're doing this. You're like, straight when, how, let's do this. Like, none of that bullshit, you know. Send me an email. Right. I'll check it with my assistant and all that crap, right? So I love that. I love that about you, man.
No, I try to keep it 100%.
So, a lot of people in Montreal know you.
Okay.
To whatever little amount of people that don't know you,
right.
Tell them a little bit about you.
Well, I am who I am. I've been doing in the world of hip hop, R&B, urban music. I'm one of the pioneers of that here in Montreal and in Canada. Started since the early mid-80s.
85?
About that. You know, I was around a little bit before that, doing parties and everything, and then I entered slowly into the world of concerts, which was around 85, 86 approximately.
What was your first concert?
Well, one of them definitely was Run DMC.
Run DMC, right? And so, before we get into all that, how did you get started? Like, I mean, why this, right?
My next door neighbor, you know, I grew up in city housing.
Okay.
And my next door neighbor, who actually lived on top of me, literally, the apartment above us, was a DJ.
Okay.
And he was starting to throw parties with a party promoter, and he asked me if I would help out to do the promotion, to go out there and do that, because first of all, he was shy. He didn't want to go out and hand out flyers and meet people. He just wanted to play music at the parties. And he was also lazy too. He didn't really want to go out there, put that kind of work in.
Talking about lazy though, most of the people in the industry, especially in Montreal, are lazy, right? I mean, they want to do it,
right? But
they're lazy as fuck.
Well, they don't understand that, you know, there's a certain amount of, what I would say, you have to have a certain amount of sweat equity put into this, right? If you're not really interested in putting the work in, how could you get the results you're looking for? Very few people get the express elevator to the top. There's very few Drakes out there in the world.
Exactly.
And you know, and if you ask Drake, he'll tell you he put a lot of work into what he had to do before he got his break. So
you started that way, and then how did you get into the main scene? Like, you know,
what basically happened after that is he wanted me to hand out flyers for him on behalf of him. So I started to go out there, hand out flyers. I started to go to the movie theaters. I started to go to the Cégeps. I was one of the first guys to start doing all of that.
Okay.
And I became very successful at doing these parties where we were getting hundreds of people. Eventually, maybe a couple of thousand, where I was doing Metropolis, 2,300 people, selling it out on parties. So I became really good at what I was doing. Put a lot of work in, was going out every day, handing out flyers, meeting people, building relationships. People were coming to my parties. They were loving it. You know, it was packed. Good times, great music, crazy vibes. So that's how I got into it. Started making some money. And then a buddy of mine, his name is Gary T, he came to me and he asked me, would you be interested in producing concerts? I figured, well, it can't be that bad because
you're used to it already, right?
I'm already producing parties, right? So I figured it's an easy transition over. And that's how I came into doing my first. But is it
very different from parties to actual concerts?
Well, yeah, it's a little different because, you know, concerts are artist-driven. Right? Somebody likes the artist, they come. They don't like the artist, they don't come.
They don't come.
A party, you know, it's party driven. So you know, they'll come if the concept is cool, the DJs are cool,
Alcohol.
the location is cool, you know, and if you put it all together and you get it out there and people start to have confidence in you, right? Because it's not as easy as that, right? You can put that all together and yet not have a successful event. At the end of the day, the people have to have confidence that you can deliver.
Yeah.
In terms of making sure that the place is full. Nobody wants to come to an empty party. Straight up. No matter who you have on the
Have you
bill.
ever had that happen to you? Empty party?
Not really, no.
No?
But
you got
I've
lucky
had,
that way?
yeah, you know. Well, I put the work in, you know. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And in that case, I was lucky. I don't think of the, you know, what I call the fake luck, you know, like the 649 kind of luck.
No,
that's
no
random.
lottery tonight then.
No, it's just, this is when you put in, you know, I always believe that the harder you work, the luckier you get. So you have to put the work in, and by putting the work in, opportunities will arise. And if you're prepared for the opportunities and you seize them at the right moment.
But now, like, I see that there's so many people doing this, right? There's a lot of people becoming event planners, party planners, and then they're renting out clubs and these lofts and everything. I mean, what do you got to say about that? Because a lot of them are just doing it with local DJs just for that couple of dollars to come in and just to say, you know, I'm an event planner, that I'm making this whole, you know, this whole scenario they're trying to get themselves into. But one, they don't have the experience nor the knowledge.
Well, that just comes with time, right? Everybody has to start on the ground, right? No matter what you think, everybody has to start on the ground floor and work their way up. So for them at that stage, that's cool, you know, that works for them. Some people continue to do parties. Some people go out of it and go into other things. They bridge off of that and go into maybe doing some sort of marketing stuff, or, you know, they figure you become an event planner or whatever. But that was the way I entered into the business that I'm in today.
Okay. And going back even before that, what's your background? Like, where, I mean, who is Rickey D? Why Rickey D? Because, I mean, who is he, right?
Well, Rickey D is that blue-collar guy that puts a lot of work into what he does and what he's been doing. That's who I am. I always believe that if you don't get out there and grind it, you will never achieve any kind of success. You know, success is an illusion if you don't put the work in.
Do you think the newer generation, especially from our community in Montreal, do you think they're faking it till they make it? Like,
you know, the problem is that part of my problem I have is with the social media.
okay.
Social media has made people very lazy.
Yes, indeed. That is true.
You know, a lot of people are not, how could I say, willing to go out there and build one person at a time. I'll give an example. When you look at a politician, right? Prime Minister of Canada, still to this day goes door to door when it's election time.
Yeah.
Right? If they didn't think that was important, then they would just sit up there on Instagram, Facebook, and all these other social medias, and that would be it.
I
right?
mean, social media is very, very important, right? I mean, it is the new generation, but what happens is a lot of people, once they get into business, any business, I find that they're too scared to make that cold call or to go knock on a door or to do certain things in the old style, which still gets us results. And I think in a field like event planning and it's very important that word of mouth and to be able to go reach those people to kind of make them feel that they're wanted to come into us rather than just spamming them, come to my event, come to my event.
Well, that's the thing, right? You know, how do you separate, you know, the wolves from the sheep? How do you separate the leaders from the followers? You know, the problem I have in this generation is that a lot of them think that you can gain success by a click of a switch. Some have, but but very few, because the lanes are so saturated that how do you separate those people? Well, I think that one of the key ingredients to separating those successful from none is to apply some sort of groundwork, meaning that is maybe not directly related to the social media, but is just related to just going out there and meeting people and building your core market in your community, which can then platform you out into the greater community in the world, right?
Yeah.
And that separates, everybody wants to, bag the hot interview. They want to get the hot new artist, and it's to the point that they've lost a lot of their direction and focus because they're in an ultra competitive lane trying to figure their way out. So the way I truly believe is that you need to have the best of both worlds.
So it's not only, are you saying it's not only about bringing in the hottest of the hottest? Is it to moderate through promoting local talent as well?
Local talent's a critical part of it, but again, local talent has to connect locally before they can think about going international. They have to be able to convince their people in their market that they're worthy of following and being a part of. And if they don't, then...
Because I'll tell you what happened in our community, in the South Asian community, there's so many people that goes out to get, event planning or parties or big concert, and they bring in these $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 artists from India or Bangladesh or whatnot.
Okay.
And they do that 1-2 event and they lose so much money and time and work behind it. And then they just disappear. I mean, what's your thought about that? Should people be starting that big or to kind of gradually go through the process?
It's all based on your capacity to handle whatever is in front of you. Some people, they might start at an $80,000, $90,000 show, but usually if they do that, it's because they have the financial means in order to do that. Now, does it mean that a person that does a $10,000 show will be more successful? Not necessarily, you know what I mean? When you're building an artist up, if you're going to buy an artist for $80,000, $90,000, it's usually because their popularity is bigger than the $10,000 artist.
Exactly.
So they should be able to get the business done, as we say, and hit that break even where they can, retrieve back.
But like you said, hard work I think hard work comes in now. You can't just say, I'm bringing this X artist, who's getting 10 million views, 20 million views on their YouTube channel, but then not actually put in that work after once you've booked that artist,
you have to. You have to,
right?
Because not even though a person might have 20 million views, do you really know where those views are coming from?
Exactly.
Right? To use your analogy there, you got a Bangladeshi artist. Is those artists coming from that part of the world?
Yeah.
Or are they coming from Montreal? How many people in the Montreal region
actually know
who that artist is?
Yeah.
And are interested in hearing that artist? Now, you might be surprised. There might be a huge amount of people, but until you have those statistics, it's basically a shot in the dark.
So if, let's say, someone's started and they're lost through their ways, what is the process to get into to make it sustainable for them to be able to continue doing this? Because you've been doing this for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. Most of the people by now, they give up, right? Mm-hmm. Either
you have to be passionate. You have to be a creator. You have to be somebody. It's like, I have all these children.
So you're a family man.
Right. But, but these children are my shows. And I have an opportunity to create them from the birth all the way to adults. Some of them become very successful. Some of them don't do as well. and some of them don't make it at all.
So what do you do with some of them that, I mean, especially if you're talking about your kids, what happens when the ones that don't make it at all or don't do too well?
Well, you have to take it as part of the cycle of life, and that not every show that you produce will be as successful as the next one or the one before. So you have to be able to rationalize it and realize that, are you in this business? Because it is called show business.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And without the show, there's no business. And without the business, there's no show. So you need to be able to rationalize it and realize, what are you in it for? Are you in it for the long term, the short? If you think it's a business where you could just come, drop a bunch of cash, and have a hugely successful event, yeah, you can. There's stories of that.
But very rare, though. But very rare.
It's a little bit more rare than people would perceive it to be. It doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It does happen.
Because there's too many people, again, coming back to the thing, they're coming back to how the things work now, is they come in, they put a bunch of dollars on the table and they expect it to be done, but it doesn't work out. Don't you think that kind of affects the business in Montreal? I think it affects the business everywhere, including Montreal. You need to do your research. You need to understand who you bring in. It's like any business. If I want to go and open up a McDonald's, it's going to cost me a lot. Yeah, exactly.
Right? The expectation and the results that come from those types of business are real. If I want to go and open up a t-shirt company to print t-shirts, I got to know, have an idea of how many other competitors I have. Do I have a good enough product in order for it to work? Well, the difference with shows is that it's artist driven. So each artist has their fans.
Yeah.
So
I'm your fan, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I love what you do. I'm your fan, by the way.
Thank you.
I made my wife your fan too, so.
Oh, nice.
She just left, but it's okay. I made her your fan too. But you're right. It just comes down to the point where you really got to do your research, and I think that is something that it's in lack now. People just goes, it's like, well, because that person's doing it, so he's doing it well, I should be able to do it too. It's like, if I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm like, listen, Ricky's doing it, he's been doing it for a while, you know what, I'm going to put in a couple of $1,000, I'm going to make, I think the advantage that you have, like you're saying, it's you have done the work, you have put in the grind and the hustle and the whole thing, you went in 110%, and I think that's why you were able to survive for so long.
I was passionate, I understood the business, I'm very well grounded, I have a lot of common sense. A lot of people, you think common sense is inherent, right? A lot of people have it, but they don't. And when, you have to be able to keep your feet on the ground, but yet look to the stars. And what happens, some people end up going up to the stars, take their feet off the ground, and they get swept up. So you need to be able to have a bit of both. You need to be able to temper your what you're trying to do in a realistic manner, and not just go out there and think that, okay, well, this is going to happen. It could happen that way, but just make sure that whatever you do, you apply some sort of logic to it.
Now, was there any point through this past 2-3 decades that you just woke up in the middle of the night and you're like, screw this shit? Like, I don't.
Well, at one time I kind of eased back in the mid 2000s. I went and decided I was going to go in a different direction.
Okay.
I was still doing stuff with the precursor to Evenco, which was the House of Blues.
Yeah.
And I was doing some stuff with them on the side, but I decided I was going to open up a Domino Pizza. So I Bought a franchise.
Wait, so you bought the franchise?
I bought the franchise. I built it from scratch.
Which one, if you don't mind me asking?
In Chowdhury.
Chowdhury, okay.
I was
So at
down
that
there.
point, Chowdhury wasn't as hype as it is now,
No.
right?
No, it wasn't. So I opened up in 2006, ran it until about 2010,
So 4 years
and
approximately.
then I sold it, got out of it, and I went back into doing my shows on a regular basis. But during those 4 years, I was doing stuff for Evenco. Well, like I said, House of Blues at that time.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Do you ever look back and like you didn't want, like you shouldn't have sold it, or
no, never look back.
never look back?
Never look back. For what?
For pizza, man.
Pizza's fattening. I'm already fat enough. I need a salad place now, so I can eat a lot of salad.
I mean, it's getting there. I'm eating a little more healthier now. I am.
You know, put it this way: if you get two things, people will think you're sick. So you need to keep a little weight. That's part of being you.
Yeah.
Not everybody can be skinny, my friend.
I can. I personally think that my bone structure and my DNA doesn't allow me to be.
And right.
Doesn't, you know?
You can be healthier. You can eat healthier. You can exercise, but realize this is you.
Like I personally don't think that I can become, like a size 32 in
Well,
jeans.
And why would you want to?
Like I don't want to, but she keeps telling me, and she's like,
No,
lose weight.
I think she's telling you this because she wants you to be healthy. She doesn't want you to have a heart
So now
attack.
you're taking her side?
Oh, yeah.
Just because she's a fan now, eh? I see how it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
definitely. I mean,
My wife does the same thing.
how long have you been married?
I've been with her since 2000, and we got married in 2006.
So you guys dated for 6 years?
Yeah,
How did that go?
that went cool, man. Yeah, she was mad cool.
Like me, we ended up dating 8 months. 8 months, then we got married.
Wow.
I mean, I took her from her parents at 11:30 at
Well,
night.
me, it was a different scenario. I was a little slower at getting married,
Yeah,
but eventually I made the move.
you made the move.
I
So
made the move.
2006, 2018, so approximately 12 years.
About that,
How many kids?
I have two.
2? Boys,
Yes.
girls?
I have a boy, he's 17,
Okay.
and I have a girl that's 13.
Do you want your kids to go into this business?
I want them to go into any business that they can become successful. If whatever I'm doing inspires them in order to become entrepreneurs, because that's what I am, and in the business I'm in, anybody with a bag of money can step into it and do it. It's not a business that is regulated. What regulates people is common sense. That's what regulates them, because those who don't have common sense usually end up leaving the business real fast
Exactly.
because they haven't did their homework and they don't understand what they're doing.
But it's a people business as well, right? You got to understand the people as well. It's not.
Well, of course,
Right.
it's like any business, right? Any business that you do, you need to understand who's your audience.
Right. Because it comes down to a point, again, going back, too many people are getting in this business without actually doing the proper research, going through the proper channels and doing the right
But
way.
that's like that in any business you want. You could start a shoe business and there
And
might be
same people,
right,
right?
and the same thing, right? And then there's going to be those who are going to fall out of it,
Exactly.
and then there's going to be those that are not.
It just comes down to a point where what's the plan next? I mean, you have done all this, you have been through this whole process for the past 2-3 decades. What's next? I mean,
Well, trying to get into interesting projects like festivals is another thing. Trying to develop bigger and better acts. Try to do some shows outside of the market. Montreal for me, take it to the U.S., Canada. Try to develop other innovative and interesting projects that can keep me going and also allow me to tap into different avenues of entertainment.
I remember, I forgot the comedian's name. He said he came to Montreal and Just for Laughs, and he said Montreal is like a big kid with ADD, always need to be entertained.
Right.
So I think those festivals, I think we need more of that? Because it is, again, it's coming back to the same thing. It's the same thing over and over again. There's no, it's not different anymore. It's every year, you know what to expect. And I think seeing, I did a little research on you. I stalked you a little bit, right?
Do you know why McDonald's is McDonald's?
You tell me. I mean, I like their burgers.
Because of consistency.
Consistency, exactly.
Big Mac has been around, what, 40 years?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You know, if you know, right, people love mediocrity. People love consistency. They love convenience. They love those things more than anything. You know, social media is born out of convenience. People wanted something a lot quicker than what they had before. Now you live in a world where the information comes at you so fast and furious that it's even hard in order to gain anybody's attention. It's like having that fridge right there and here, and you know, that fridge went from having 1 or 2 items into it, which then limits your choice, but it was easier for you to choose, to now that fridge is packed and you don't know what to choose anymore.
So I had that problem last night. I opened my fridge at 3 o'clock in the morning and I tell them, like, what do I eat? You know what I mean? Like, because again, it comes down to a point where there's so much choice too, but I've going to McDonald's, but don't you think that, yes, they have the Big Mac, they had their roots, right? What they started with. But every year they're coming up with those new items that's selling out.
These are all gimmicks that just keep you entertained, you know, to come back in the room. But at the end of the day, 9 out of 10 people are going to end up eating what they know.
Yeah, Big Mac, man. I like Big Mac.
You see what I mean? So, yeah, you know, there's a certain amount of people that go into McDonald's, they'll eat that cheap burger, but it's some sort of variation off of the Big Mac, or they'll go back to the Big Mac. So, you know, you're never far from where you're at on that. Now, with the way things are now, is, you know, it's hard to keep people's attention.
What's the last show that you did?
Azealia Banks.
How did that go?
It was a great show. She came down, she performed magnificently. We had a pretty good attendance. Could have had more people. But based on what she was expected to do, I was a bit disappointed.
Okay.
I wanted to see a better turnout.
Okay.
But I was happy with the turnout at the end of the day because the performance was good and everything. Was it a moneymaker? No. But would I do her again? Yes. Because
you'd bring her down again, even knowing the fact how the last one went?
Because I'm, you know, I'm not one of these guys who walks over dollars to get the quarters. I see the long-term potential of these people and what they can do for the public and for the industry. I realize that, you know, like building a house, sometimes you gotta build one room at a time. And I realized that with an artist of her nature and her caliber, maybe this just wasn't a good timing, but, you know, like, I'll give an example. She just released a movie that she's doing right now, which is doing very well. So 8 months from now, she might be
better, bigger.
You see what I mean? Because her popularity and her base
is gonna grow, right?
It's gonna grow.
So what do you think of the industry? I mean, if who do you think is doing super well right now in the industry as artists?
Oh, well, you know, you have a lot of those. If you're talking in the world of hip hop, you know, a lot of the trap artists.
Yeah.
A lot of the artists coming out of Atlanta. They're bringing in the people.
Atlanta is a huge market for these hip hop
right,
artists,
especially the new artists of that nature. You know, it's Atlanta's time. You know, one time it was New York.
New York, exactly.
One time
right?
it was L.A.
L.A.
One
right?
time it was the Midwest. You know.
Are there any rappers from Texas?
Guys like Scarface and Slim Thug.
But very few.
Guys.
But very few.
Yeah, they must have others. I just don't know if they're from Texas or not.
I don't know. I just always, you know, seen, you know, cowboy hat and rapping with a cowboy hat.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know any that does that though.
Okay. Now, what are your next 3 shows? I mean, for 2017 is coming to an end.
I have this week, I have a show with a hip-hop artist named Ace Hood.
Ace Hood, okay.
He's coming to Montreal. He's playing at the Belmont this Saturday.
Are you going to wake up in a Bugatti with him?
I don't know. I don't know if I'll get in his Bugatti, but I'll definitely hear him sing about it. I'll see that. And what else I have? Nelly.
This Friday he's coming, right?
Yeah, he's coming.
I saw Nelly. I saw the poster.
Nelly's coming March the 25th. So tickets just went on sale. He's looking really good.
Nelly's always looking.
Yeah, that's it for now. I don't have anything else that I could talk about show-wise. Oh, I'm doing Maestro Fresh West.
Yes.
I'm bringing him down. I'm doing like an old school retro party with him performing some of his classic hits from like the early 90s.
Nice.
You know, yeah. So I'm bringing him down. That should be a lot of fun. That's on December 30th at this place called Skyline, which is the old Pandora.
Okay.
On the corner of St. Catherine and Saint Laurent.
Okay.
So I'm doing that, like it's a party with him and hosting.
It's for like the end of the year party kind of thing.
Yeah.
What's your favorite venue so far for all the events that you have done?
Olympia is definitely one of them.
Metropolis I heard is also good.
Metropolis is good. I don't do a lot of shows.
No, you do more.
No.
You want coffee, bro?
I'm
Get
tired.
some coffee. I know.
I'm exhausted. But I'm here.
You're here. I think that to the new generation, no matter how tired you are, even on a Sunday night, Rickey D is here. Man.
Well, yeah, I said I come on and I show you love. I think this is...
You did, and
you
I
have to encourage these type of endeavors.
Yes.
Because, you know, that's how the industry works. If guys like yourself and the ladies that are here doing their thing, then they do these things, then guess what?
Ladies, get tickets for me for Ace Hood, right? Right.
You know, it's important to encourage these type of
100%, and I think I've spoken with a couple people that knows you, and I think I definitely agree with them that you get credit definitely, but I think you should be getting so much more credit. It's unbelievable, because to be in this industry, I know how hard it is. You know,
it's very hard.
It's super hard because it's changing so quickly. You have new artists from here, you have new artists from there.
Listen, I can't even imagine if I sat up there and I take the last 2 years of my life at producing these shows, and how quickly it's evolved from the artists that were there before. I don't even know where to begin. You know, 2 years ago, the Uzi Verts, the Migos of artists, exactly. And all of these guys hardly existed.
Chance the Rapper, I mean.
You know, these are all artists that have single-handedly reshaped the world of hip-hop.
Right. It's as deep that it is, it's changing so quickly, and I think it's good for you, because you're going to be able to bring in these new talents as long as the demand is there.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
You know, for sure. There always has to be an interest. Now it's a question as a producer of events to understand the level of interest. So it's like, you're like gambling. And when you gamble, you need, you know, the most successful gamblers are those who are able to apply as much technical as they can, along with just the vibe of what they're feeling.
Man, I can listen to you talk all day, man.
So you need to have a bit of both.
I can listen to you talk all day. One last thing before we leave, we make everyone do this. We give you a white piece of paper,
all right,
and you got to make a paper airplane out of it. And you got 60 seconds.
Make an airplane.
Making a paper airplane out of it.
I haven't did an airplane in so long.
Because like I said at the last show, I'm not able to do it. I make fun of everybody that comes in here, right? What was your best show and your favorite show that you have done?
My favorite show and my best show, one of them was The Roots.
Okay.
Another one was the Fugees.
Why?
The other one was Tribe Called Quest.
Quest, yes. That was, if I'm not wrong, one of your first shows.
Yeah, some of my earlier shows. They were a lot of fun.
Was it because of the artists or?
Artists, the time, the era, the beauty of what we do. Yeah.
Man, like I said, I can listen to you talk all day. And I absolutely loved having you here. Everybody, Ace Hood this Friday, right?
No, this Saturday.
This Saturday?
This Saturday at the Belmont. Doors are opening at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Show times around 11:30.
Where can they get the tickets from?
They can buy the tickets on my website, RickeyDEvents.com. That's RICKEY, the letter D, events.com.
So they can go there, get your tickets.
So
it's gonna be hot.
Here's my jet. How's that, eh?
It's your jet?
It's my jet.
Okay, it lands properly too. That's not bad. Rickey, brother, thank you very, very much for coming on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for everyone for joining. We really, really appreciate it. It would be amazing if you can go support Rickey and
support hip hop.
Support hip hop.
Don't support me. Support hip hop. Support music. I'm only a temporary fixture.
But you're good though. You're good.
But if we don't support the music, then we will have no more music as we want it. And when you support it, you support an industry, right? You support those
100%.
people around it, right? All the DJs, all the doormen,
everyone,
all the promoters, the artists, the drivers. There's a whole community of people who rely on this
event
as part of their living and part of where it's at. And only by supporting it that can we really truly build something. So it's not important to support me, it's to support the events that I do and other people like myself that are doing, because I wouldn't want somebody to support me, not support you, and you suffer but yet I go up. That's not fair.
See, I'm going back to where I started, humble as fuck. Super humble.
But
and
that's how I am.
Super humble.
I'm always like that.
And I wish you lot more success for the next 30, 40, 50 years.
I don't know if I'll be around that much.
You will be, man. You will be.
I tell you.
You'll be doing your best events at that point.
Oh my, yeah.
You'll be doing your best events at that point.
I'll be doing them in a retirement home.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. For all of you that watched us, keep hustling and keep grinding, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
Was amazing, man.